Wonderful. All right, and we're at the noon mark. Welcome, everybody. We're super excited to have you on today's webinar, and we're excited about today's topic, how to double your income in 2018. My name is Julie, and I'm going to be your moderator for today. Before we get started, I do want to let everybody know that we will be taking questions today. To get the most from today's session, we'd like you to focus on audio, not visuals. We'd like you to text your questions using this Q&A section. You guys are doing a great job with that already on the control panel. We'll take as many questions as we are able, so take great notes. If at any time after the webinar you want to connect with Darryl or his team, you can always find him and them online on the social media platforms with the handle @DarrylSpeaks. That said, I would love to introduce you to my dear friend and an extraordinary speaker and coach, Darryl Davis. Hi, Darryl. Darryl's been training and coaching real estate agents for over 25 years through his live one-day speaking engagements, his training programs, his 3 real estate books, and of course, his most popular training program, the Power Program. This picture is worth 1,000 words, I think, as it really does reflect Darryl's true audiences. You know, Darryl loves to laugh and learn with his audience. He keeps people on their toes. He loves to have some fun. And obviously, by all these smiley faces, so do his audiences. The flip side of that, though, is while having fun, he also gets to the heart of exactly what the strategies and tools are that agents need to succeed. In fact, this is him. Hold on. This is him actually calling FSBOs from the stage. Darryl demonstrates live to his audiences how to call 4 FSBOs and make 3 appointments. As I said, Darryl's the author of 3 books, all published by McGraw-Hill. The first one there, How to Become a Power Agent in Real Estate, is actually the #1 book to sold to realtors on Amazon. Very cool. Darryl was also named as one of the top 5 coaches in real estate by Riz Media. And if you can't make out those other folks, don't worry, they're not on today's call. Lastly, Darryl is the proud recipient of the CSP designation from the National Association of Speakers. This prestigious honor is only given to the top 2% of professional speakers worldwide. Darryl brings humor and how-tos together. He teaches real-world results, techniques, and solutions. And I am thrilled to be here today to help introduce him. On that note, welcome everybody. Welcome, Darryl. And Darryl, I'll just let you take that away.
All right. Thank you, Julie. Good morning, everybody. Listen, thanks for taking the time to call in or click in or all the different ways that you are with this webinar. So I have a lot to cover with you. Just a couple more things on the intro and putting things into its context. So in 1993, we created the Power Program, our coaching program, which our book is based on. Our power agents go from 15 transactions to 35 transactions in the course of a year. This is actually a picture of the very first class I did in 1993, and you can see me in some kind of Guido shoot hanky thing going on there. So the reason why I'm sharing this with you, our students generate additional 33,000 over their previous year. And this is the website where we actually host the Power Program, where a lot of our tools are and the training that we do. I'm sharing this with you because I want to put today's webinar into the context of what we share with our students. And I'm going to start teaching right now. So this is, I want you to focus on this. To be skilled and to be successful in real estate, there's, in my opinion, there's 3 skills that we need to be really good at. There's the attitude skills. You know, we all know on this call that real estate can be very frustrating. And if we don't feel like prospecting or we don't feel like doing the things that we know we should be doing, it's going to impact our results. The second skill is our listing and selling skills, which interesting. This is where a lot of agents focus on. It's like, all right, what's the scripts? What's the dialogue? To doing a listing appointment or prospecting, which is all very important. But there's 3 skills, not just that one, right? So there's attitude, there's listing and selling, and then there's the business skills of listing and running your business as a business, right? So what we're going to do is on this webinar, I'm going to be covering a little bit from each one of the skills, but there's going to be more focus on the attitude skills, the goal setting, the business planning. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to show you, this is what we sent you in the emails and the website about what we promised that I'm going to cover with you today. And you'll notice a lot of attitude aspect here, how to break down your goals, make them manageable tasks, how to get excited about your career again. The number one secret to stay in focus, and it's really simple. I'm going to give you, it's so simple on just how to stay focused each and every month. It doesn't have to be complicated. We are going to talk a little bit on the listing and selling skills as far as what are the best sources of listing leads in 2018, how to balance between your family and personal life. And we're going to talk a little bit money. Now, I'm not a financial planner, but I do want to help you guys be more successful financially in your future. So I'm going to give you some tips on that. 2 questions that we got before the webinar, just cover this. Well, will I be coming to your area? We have so many people all over the U.S. on this call, and those are 2 websites. If you want to just jot it down, this is where you can see, where I'm going to be coming to in your area, and it's always being updated. So every month, I just got back from somewhere, Denver, Colorado, last night. So it's that website's always changing. The PowerAgentSeminar.com. That's our live seminars, and then the listing workshop. We're doing one on Long Island, so I know we have some tri-state people here. We're almost sold out. That room holds 300 people, and we only have like 50 seats left. So any of the tri-state people, that listingworkshop.com, make sure you go there if you want to attend. Second question is the webinar sales pitch, and then I'm going to answer that and get into this. No. So I know a lot of webinars, sometimes they tease you and they don't really teach you. Will you have an opportunity to get a special about becoming a power agent? Yes, I will talk about that, but this can be loaded with content, and let's start that. Here's the first thing I want to tell you about having 2018 be your breakthrough year to double your income is you need to focus on your next level. So there's a little bit of an attitude distinction that I want to cover with you, because again, how we feel at any given time really dictates the actions that we take, the activities that we do. If you think about when you first got into real estate, for those of you who've been in the business for a while, if you remember, you're probably pretty excited, turned on about the possibility of what real estate can be for you. And sometimes as we put months under our belt and then years under our belt, we can be really overwhelmed and stressed about the business aspect, about the money. And it kind of robs our joy. We lose sight of what is it that we're really committed to. When you're really focused on what you're committed to, it will empower you to do the things necessary to get to your next level. But you need to know what your next level is. I'm going to share this with you. We just celebrated New Year's, yeah? And any of you know in New York, it was really quite cold. And what was interesting to me is that people were like crammed into Times Square. They started, I think, 3 in the afternoon, waiting and waiting in this freezing cold. And I'm like, what? Don't you have TVs? You can see the ball drop. Even better, because they zoom in on the camera. Why would you do this? And then when I was watching people, and of course I was, at friend's house, and people were counting down 10, 9, and they were so excited about counting down to this New Year's. I had a bit of an epiphany, and I thought to myself, why do people get so excited about counting down to the New Year's? And here's what I believe it is in the counting down, there's 2 things that's happening. Number 1 is we're saying goodbye to all of the mistakes, the self-persecution, beating ourselves up for all the mistakes that we made. So we're letting go of the past, and at the same exact time, we're getting excited about the possibility of what this new year will be for us. Here's what I'm saying. In that very moment that we're counting down, we're in the space of pure possibility. And that's why I believe we're so excited during that countdown, because anything truly is possible in that very one moment. Imagine if you can bring that to your career each and every day. Imagine if you can have that kind of enthusiasm when you wake up each and every morning. So my question, what I want you to really think about after this webinar is, what is your next level? What are you committed to? What does your new year look like? Oliver Wendell Holmes said, once the mind of man is expended, it never goes back to its original form. So next level is life-altering big stuff. It's not, it's things that will change the quality of your life. So start to think about, when you got into real estate, you probably were more excited about the possibility of what real estate could be for you. So design that for yourself. I'm not talking about goal setting. That's different. I'm talking about life altering. Who you are as a person is going to be different at the end of this year. Now, one of our students, one of our power agents, Joanne Mills, she said here, if you look at this quote, and I just need to move my screen so I can see it a little bit. She's a great agent, great business. She loves being in real estate. My listing inventory has tripled because of her income, because of the training. Anyway, Joanne, she launched her own office now. She's grown tremendously. And this is an example of somebody who's really focused on what their next level is. Now, I want to show you one thing here. Now, a lot of you should have this what's on the screen now for those of you that called in on the web or tuned in through the webinar online. And you'll see at the bottom it says thepowerprogram.com/blog. Okay, now also I want to point something out, just the technical thing. If you look over to your screen over to the right, it has, where is it, handout? If you were to click on handout, it might say 1 of 5. There's a PDF of this business plan. So there's a couple of ways to get it. You can download it through the webinar or go to the powerprogram.com blog page. And on that site, I actually recorded for you a 10-minute video on how to work through this easy business plan. I'm not a fan of really complicated business plans because then it can really drain you and not inspire you or motivate you. And I'm not going to talk about this business plan on this webinar because I recorded the 10 minutes for you on the blog. But I do want to point something out, the top portion. So the top portion, it says personal survival and business survival, and then subtotal. A lot of us sometimes are just surviving. We're just paying our personal bills and our business bills. And at the end of the day, at the end of the year, that's what we have. So what we're committed to with our power agents is going beyond just survival. And so if you look at the numbers there, it's a little blurry, but number 4 says retirement money needed, income tax. Yeah, unfortunately, we got to pay. Education, next level, business improvement. So those numbers there are about going beyond survival. And I think it'll be real important for you to take the time, if for nothing else, to finish out fill out that top portion so you get clear about, what do you need beyond survival to get to your next level. So that's the first thing. Focus on your next level. Get passionate about something. Let's talk about some time management stuff here. And one of our students, Steve, he said, because of Darryl's techniques, I found more free time while still closing 23 million production in 12 months. And let me tell you, he really learned the concept that I'm going to share with you now, and that's about setting monthly goals. The thing about year goals, you do the business plan to get a sense of what you need financially, right? But the thing about monthly goals is it's 2 things. Number 1, it's more urgent. The problem with just setting 12-month goals is that you think, well, I got plenty of time, I got a full year. Whereas monthly goals, they're more urgent. If I were to say one of the most powerful things for our students is this concept here. The other part about the monthly goals, it's easier to obtain. It helps you stay more focused. Sometimes a year goal can be really overwhelming to us. So this is a very simple thing that we gave our power agents this month. It's not really high tech. It's a thing we print out just so you see it on the screen. And if you were to look at the month of January and then do this again each and every month, what are some of the top milestones that you want to accomplish in just the next 30 days? If you just zero in on just a handful of things, I like the number 5. So 5 to me is a doable number. So I've got it as an example on the screen. Open up a retirement account if you don't have one. Speak to 15 FSBOs and expireds each week. Move current sales that are in contract to closing. Lose 10 pounds and obtain 3 listings. So that's just an example. You got some personal, you got some business. And if you did that every month, it'll help you stay focused. Another thing is schedule family and personal time first. You all know this, that we seem to just work, and when we have time left over, we'll give it to our family and to ourselves. And I don't have to tell you that's not the best way to live. Marie Lynn, great power agent, she said one of the most important things that she learned through the coaching was she was making 60 grand, went to 209 in just 12 months. That's a credible increase. But the thing about Marie is that she did this while opening up a real estate office, going through a divorce and taking care of her 2 kids. Amazing, superwoman. And but she, she kept the priorities, and that's what I want you to also consider and keep in mind of this year, is that the people that are closest to you, if they're not okay and your relationships are not okay, it's really hard to be successful, because when you're having those issues in your personal life, you bring that to the business. You bring that your own insecurities to the telephone and calling physicals and expireds. And those of you who have children, sometimes when we will be motivated by our family more than just for ourselves. So it's important to have that strong balance. One of the things you may want to consider doing, and by the way, everything that I shared today may not apply to everybody, but I'm trying to touch, all different walks of life on this call. So for example, one of our students did something really cool. There's a picture of it. They had each one of their kids actually come up with their own goals. And I was getting ready for this webinar. I was looking at some of these, like Levi over to the right there, all the way at the bottom right, says, stay dry at night. So obviously, Levi has a bedwetting problem. I'm sorry, gang. I'm just having my own fun here. Speak more clearly, learn to read, try Taekwondo and Saka. Anyway, very cool. I think those of you that have children, bringing some of these concepts to your children while they're young is not just good for your kids, but it's also good for you. They say, the Chinese proverb, the next level of learning is teaching, right? So, all right, also at the bottom of that screen, you'll see the powerprogram.com blog. That's our free portion of the website that we keep loading free stuff for you. And on one of the blogs we posted, I don't have a screenshot of it, but a next level vision board that you can actually print out. So if you want to go check that out, we're trying to give you guys as much free stuff as we can. Also, this is one of the favorite things that I need to do, get back to doing, and that's creating a family fun list. Now, here's the concept of the family fun list, and this is just a sample, is that I think when we feel that it's time to spend time with our family, we'll usually jump to 2 things, which is, hey, let's go out to dinner or let's go to the movies. And those seem to be the 2 staple things that we want to do with our family when we feel they need some personal time. One of the things I recommend is creating a family fun list. Put it on your refrigerator. And when it's time for you to create some memorable moments with your family, is actually look to the list and do one of the items on there. Now, here's the game. When you do one of the items on the list, you highlight it with a highlighter. Don't cross it off. Highlight it. And next time you're going to do something with your family, go back to the list. And the game is, you can't do one of the things you've already done. What's cool about this concept, and I talk about this in one of my other books, How to Design a Life Worth Smiling About, is it forces you to do new things, creative things with your family, and create new memorable moments, okay? Here's that next thing, getting organized. Tina Rossetti, one of our power agents, she said, I think Darryl's, forget that part. Because of his training, I make over $200,000 a year, average 20 listings at any time, and do this with no effort. Now, Tina, what she really told me is that she really learned through our program how to manage her time more effectively. I'm going to show you something that I'm going to encourage you guys to do. And at the bottom, for those of my current power agents, because we have some current members on this call, you'll see at the bottom the website, thepowerprogram.com systems and checklists. You have to be a member to get to that part, but everybody else, you can create this on your own. This is something that our power agents print out. And the concept here is to stay focused on building listing inventory. Now, if you've attended any of my training or seminars before, you've heard me talk about the distinction between getting listings versus building inventory. I'm not going to, what time is it? Yeah, I'm not have time to go through that whole thing, so, because I have a lot more to give you. But real quick, the concept is you want to, the more listings you currently have for sale, the better it is for your business, because every business needs to have inventory. If they have no inventory, they have no business. An automobile, a car dealership, if they don't have inventory, they have a parking lot. If a Dunkin' Donuts has no donuts, they have an empty store. So for us in real estate, it's listings. And so you don't want to have an empty store. You don't want to have a parking lot. The concept of the inventory chart is this. Let's say, you know, you had 6 listings in January, 4 sold. Well, that's awesome. You had 4 sales, but the problem is now your inventory is down to 2. So you may set a goal. Let me get it up to, I'm trying to look at the numbers here, 5. And the concept of the listing inventory chart is to keep building your business, to keep building your inventory. And I'll share with you something that our students really love right now. It's not part of the seminar, but just came to me, is that if you focus, here's what you should be committed to in 2018, and that is building your inventory by 1 a month. So if, for example, if you're starting the year off with, let's just say 0, if you focus for 30 days, and I'm going to give you some other tools in a minute to help you do this, but if you just got 1 listing in the next 30 days, great. Do it again in February. So now February you're up to 2, and then in March you're up to 3. Now at some point during the year, you're going to start selling things off. So if you get to 4, and now next month you want to get to 5, but 1 of those 4 sold, right? That means in the next month you have to replenish the one that sold plus 1 more. So the game is build your inventory in 2018 by 1 a month. At the end of the year, you should have 12 active listings, but you were replenishing because things were selling. Plus, you're going to get more buyers because of your inventory and the signs. That is a powerful, powerful commitment to make, a powerful distinction that will keep you focused. If there's nothing else you get from this webinar, which I hope there's going to be a lot more, if you just focus on that every 30 days, build your inventory by 1, you're going to be a better agent at the end of the year. Here's another thing that we give our power agents called the dot board. And again, you can create this yourself. Our current power agents, go to that website and you can print it out. I will tell you, by the way, you know, some of these charts, these 2 charts, the dot board and listing inventory chart, I just thought of something good. Okay. I've been struggling with, hey, how do we get our power agents these charts? Because if we had to print them out and then mail them out, it would cost too much money to charge you for us to print like 1 and ship it to you. Vistaprint. If you guys go to Vistaprint, create your own account, and you take these PDFs that we have, our current power agents, you can have them print out just 1 for you in a nice size. There, I just thought it good. Okay. Now, here's how the dot board works. So it's different than the inventory. The inventory chart shows your active listings. The dot board's tracking your production. So for example, let's follow along on the screen. Let's say you got a listing in January. Yeah, you give yourself a dot. Okay, good. Then let's say you do it again in January. Great, you got another dot. Now we've got 3 listings. So forget the inventory chart. That's active listings that are not in contract, that are still for sale. These are simply accomplishments. Let's say one of your listings sold. Let's say a buyer bought a house, and now it's February. Let me just see where I am. Hang on. So let me explain this dot board now. So let's say this is February. It's the beginning of February. Looking at the screen, looking at your dot board, it's like, okay, you started off strong. This is awesome. You're getting listings. You've got a couple of sales happening. Awesome. Now, let's say it's really March now. Let's say it's March 15th, and that's your dot board. What did you learn? Wow, well, I started off strong in January. I slipped in February. In March, I'm sucking wind. So the dot board motivates you at any given time. It helps you look at where your strengths, where your weaknesses are you slacking. It's a very powerful chart to help you stay focused. I just want to show the power agents really quick because we have the power agents on the call. When you go to the Power Program website and you click on Classroom, you click on Systems and Checklists. That's where those charts are that you can download. Here's another time management tip I have for you guys. What I use for me personally for my to-do list is this company called Nozbe, N-O-Z-B-E. I could do a webinar just on this. It's really powerful. You can set up projects and categories and create tasks, and then you prioritize your tasks based on the project. So it's really a simple, powerful, it's free, or you can pay some dollars to get more features, but that's what I recommend. My team in our company, for those of you that have a team, we use another to-do project management software called GLIP. I'm sorry I don't have a screen on that. It's G-L-I-P. Okay. Julie, how are we doing? Everything good?
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Okay, good. Creating positive habits. So let's talk about some of the habits that you need to do in 2018. And if you were to take, I asked my students to do this once, to list your top 20% of your activities. You've all heard the expression, the 80-20 rule, that 80% of the business is done by 20% of the agents. Well, that actually comes from an Italian economist back in the 18th century. His name was Alfredo Pareto. It was called Pareto's Principle. And so this is an old concept, the 80-20 rule. It also applies to a lot of things. And one of them is 20% of the work that we do produces 80% of our results. If you ever notice that when you're going on vacation, all of a sudden you're very busy, you've got a couple listings or a couple of sales. Why do we produce more when we have to go somewhere on vacation? Here's why. When we make the commitment to go somewhere, it forces us to not do the things that are not productive. It's like, all right, before I go out of town, I've got to get this, this, and this done. It helps us zero in on those top 20% activities that produces 80% of our results. Now, for us in real estate, the most important activity to do is to prospect, right? Now, gang, what I did here is this slide. I put prospecting with a purpose, and here's why I put that, because I want to communicate something specific with you. Now, this is not a webinar on, prospecting and calling FSBOs. You heard in my introduction that that's one of my strengths. I'm known for calling FSBOs and expireds and teaching agents how to do that. This is more of the attitude skills of our business. I'm not going to be covering how to prospect FSBOs and expireds, except I do want to say this, that the challenge that a lot of us have when it comes to prospecting, especially FSBOs and expireds, is we think that our commitment is to schedule an appointment. And that is the problem. That is what creates the added stress, because if you prospect for the purpose to get an appointment, you're setting up a win-lose game for yourself. Meaning if you get the appointment, you succeeded, and if you didn't, you're a failure. So what I tell my agents to do is do not prospect with a commitment to get an appointment. Prospect committed to building a relationship with another human being. Now, this slight difference, this slight distinction gets rid of the stress, number one. Number two, for you to build a relationship with another human being, you have to be good at asking questions. And so it forces you to ask more questions than what you might normally do when you're prospecting. The other thing is you're making it about them, not about yourself. When you have it be about getting an appointment, it's about you succeeding. But if it's about building a relationship with another human being, the focus is now on them. The appointment will naturally happen by itself if you have built a relationship with another human being. One of the things that we talk about, I'm just going to touch upon this. This is Maslow's theory, hierarchy of needs. And if you look at the screen here, it says, after food, water, sleep, all that stuff, the next most important thing is security and shelter, safety. So really what we're doing, gang, is we're helping people move to their next level in their life. When you're calling a FSBO and expired, if your commitment is to build a relationship and see how you can serve them, not sell them, how you can coach them, not close them, it's a more powerful call. So like I said, we'll have other webinars and other training sessions on how to make the calls, and we'll dig deeper into that, but that's what I just wanted to touch upon. So real quick, as far as generating listing appointments for this year and prospecting and you building your inventory, there's a lot of different places that we can generate listing leads, and you'll see it on the screen. It says social media, mailings, door knocking, all is great. You'll notice, though, it says future business. My favorite is, and my strength is, the now business, which is FSBOs, expireds, houses for rent, old FSBOs, old expired. So part of what you want to do this year is make sure that you're focusing on just one or two ways to build your inventory. Don't try and do, like, if you're looking at the screen, you cannot do all this. You do all that, it's too much. It's overwhelming. Just pick one or two really good items. My preference, again, is the right side, FSBOs, expireds. Now, let me share with you, one of my students, Denise Williams, she said, I learned how to increase my effectiveness with prospecting. I now get more listings and higher commissions. She averages about 4 transactions a month, and that's because Denise has been really working on FSBOs and expires. So here's the 2 things to prospect effectively. Number one is you want to get a good file system. You know, most of us are really good at being connected with people, participating with people, engaging with people, but we're not really that organized. So one of the things in you doubling your income in 2018 is run your business a little bit better as a business person. Listen, I know there's so many things that we need to work on as agents. And listen, you got 12 months. Pat Riley taught me this. If you improve 10% a month, that's 120% in a year. This is, again, I think one of the secret ingredients for our power agents is that I tell them, listen, just take it 1 month at a time, not like 1 year at a time. Don't you get too overwhelmed. So like I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you. I'm trying, but I want you to just think, okay, what can I implement in the next 30 days, right? And so file system. Let me share with you my favorite file system when it comes to prospecting. Now, my students who've been with me before, this is going to be a little bit of review, so just be patient with me, because if you're not doing it, you need to do it. To me, this is the absolute best company out there that helps us in giving to us on a silver platter FSBOs, expireds, houses for rent, pre-foreclosures. So the company is called RedX. And what we did, I'm going to show you, just to give you an idea, this is what the cost is. I'm just running through this quick because I want to just bottom line and get to the next stuff. So you've got expireds, $60 a month. FSBOs is $30 a month. So you can choose everything. You can choose some of the things. But what they do is they give it to you on a silver platter, these leads. And here's those of you that are power agents, the discount that you have if you got everything is $319 versus $359. But also you don't pay that setup fee of $149. So for those of it, and here's the other thing, there's a $sign on the screen, it's wrong. The first 30 days are free. So let me just go back here because I just want to make sure people don't miss this. If you want to start calling FSBOs, expires, or houses for rent in 2018, this company gives it to you. You get a dedicated website, a username, password. You get your dedicated leads just for yourself. And they scour it. They give it to you. It'll help you dramatically increase in your inventory. So we negotiated these special prices for you. Here's where you can go to get that information. If you go to darrylspecial.com, the promo code, you'll see right there, it says SMILE, and it waives the setup fee. It waives the first 30 days. But here's what I recommend you guys do. Go to that website, darrylspecial.com, after the webinar, and check out what it is, because I don't want to spend time teaching this. I'm trying to give you so much in a short period of time. So the message that I have for you right now is go to darrylspecial.com, look at what the program is. If you think it's going to help you, then you should sign up on the 30-day free, and then after that it's month to month. Okay, so that's the point there. Okay, just loading you up with stuff and websites. You have a lot of homework after this webinar. You got to check out the time management stuff and the charts. I hope you guys are getting value here. Here's the next thing. So file system, number one. Number two is you got to get good dialogue in calling FSBOs and expireds. Now, obviously, I have pretty good dialogue. This is me on Long Island last year calling FSBOs live. I got to show you something funny. So we have 350 agents in the class, and I'm going to suppose there's an arrow here. There's an arrow here. Do you see that guy in the bottom right-hand corner, the yellow arrow? He's looking like in astonishment. And then the top right picture, you'll see the guy, he can't even look at me. It's so painful to watch me call the FSBOs. And this is our good power agent, Tony Danina. He's laughing because he's one of my first students. He just knows how good I am at that. But anyway, my point here is you should find some dialogue that works for you, whether it's my dialogue or somebody else's. But you want to have some dialogue that makes you more effective at asking the questions, getting the appointment. Now, for those of you that are my power agents, if you click on building listing inventory, you're going to see the dialogue. You can download it right there. It's in the classroom tab. building listing inventory, and that's where you guys can get the Power Agent dialogue for calling FSBOs and calling expireds. All right, mailings is another thing you can do. Now, one of our Power Agents, Brian Toole, I'm sorry, gang, I just want to check the time because I want to make sure we open up for questions. By the way, if you have questions, I want you to write them down. Julie, has anybody asked any questions yet? Did you notice? Did they send it to you? Jules?
Yes, we had one that wanted to know if the Long Island seminar was going to be the same thing as today, and I shared that it is not, that's an entire all-day event. And one said, how many people should you be contacting every day in terms of prospecting?
Okay, that's a great question. So who asked that question about the number of calls to make?
Sarah.
Sarah. Okay, so Sarah, as far as the number of questions, number of calls to make in a day, I don't want to screw up the visual on the screen right now, but if you remember at the beginning of the webinar, I showed you that easy business plan, which you can download. Yeah. So the easy business plan actually will take your numbers that you want to accomplish and break it down as to how many calls you should make each day or each week. So you can really anal with those numbers with that easy plan that I gave you. Okay, so that's because the number of calls and conversations you make are based on your goals in the course of a year. But I will tell you one other easier answer. If you spoke to, because I like to keep it easy, if you just spoke to 2 FSBOs or expireds every day, and that's all you did, 2 FSBOs, 2 conversations, FSBO expired every day, total 2, you'll probably make 6 figures. Some people, they can wrap their brain around that. Like, all right, I don't want to sit down and do a marathon call. I've seen some agents, that's what they do, right? They sit down and they'll prospect for hours. I really couldn't do that. But I can always squeeze in 2 calls a day. I can always do that. So there's an easier suggestion. All right. I'll answer more questions at the end of this webinar. Here's a sample. So I said mailings. Here is one of the expired flyers we created for our Power Agents. And at the bottom, they customize it. It's a great layout, great content. I noticed you're listing it recently expired, blah, blah, blah. So you can do a mailing like this. You can do, here's another one that we did for fall. It's a great time to sell. 4 reasons to list your home during the fall, and it goes through those. So that's another thing you can do, gang, with calls or in place of calls. I'm not a fan of doing mailings in place of calls. I think calls are more effective, they're quicker. You can get more done in the same amount of time that you would do as far as the door knocking or doing mailing. So anyway, but that's another option. Now, again, just for our Power Agents, where you would find those flyers that we created for you. If you go to monthly session, then you'll see the Power Agent magazine. There's always a lot of this stuff in the magazines, but I want to point out, and there's a picture of what happens when you click on the magazine. But this here, those of you that the Power Agents, real quick, don't forget we have the closed group, the Facebook group, Power Agent members, and you'll see, like, I'm always posting stuff in the Facebook closed group to make it easier. And there's a bunch of flyers. A lot of the agents, like a secret thing that the agents are not using as much. They didn't know was there. So I want to make sure I pointed that out. So that's in the Facebook private group. All right, let's go on. Okay, now I'm going to share some money tips with you. And you'll see the screen. It says, I am not a financial planner, but my portfolio this year is gotten almost 28% return. And now the stock market's been going really great. I've been getting a lot of Power Agents asking me, what are you investing in? What are you doing? So I'm just going to share this stuff with you. I don't get any benefits from this, but here's a couple of tips. Number one is some of you need to pay off your credit card debt. You know, if you're paying 25% on a credit card, by you paying it off, actually, you know what that's like? You're getting like a return of 25%. That's one way to look at it. Technically, that's not how it is, but if you were to take $5,000 and invest it in the stock market versus paying off your credit card, well, pay off the credit card because now you just made that 25% on it. So some of you, that should be part of your goal. Something I taught my son when he was really young is to take your money and start breaking it up this way. 50% of the money you generate, you put it into your spending account. 20% put it into some kind of savings. 20% do some kind of investing. It doesn't have to be real estate. Real estate obviously is awesome for us, but some of us think, oh, I don't have the money to put down to buy an investment property. So just start putting it into a portfolio, like, you know, Fidelity or something. Just start investing it and it will grow. And then for those of you that, you know, have religion in your life, take 10% and give it to God. And if you're an atheist, you can take that 10% and put it wherever the hell you want to put it. Can I say hell on the webinar, Julie? Okay.
I think you're okay.
Okay. It's a good thing we're not going to rebroadcast this. All right. Now, I want to show you something. I did this, guys, for you at CNN Money. I showed this to my son. I showed this to a bunch of people because I'm really passionate about this. I want you to see this. On the screen, it says, all right, let's say you started with $100 and you only put away $100 a month, and you got to return at 10% a year. Now, I told you my portfolio is getting 27%, but so I wanted to go low, 10%. If you did that for 40 years, $100 a month at 10%, look at the bottom right-hand screen. In 40 years, you would have said, where is it? Come on, it's coming, 637,000. So over 40 years, to have $600,000 just on $100, that's pretty good. Show your kids this screen. All right, here's another one. Let's go through another. Let's say you kicked it up to $200 a month. $200 a month. Watch what happens. 40 years, 1.2 million. Basically double, right? Okay. Now, some of you are like, okay, let's say you did $200 a month, but it was 15% return on your money, which is definitely probable and possible. That's $6 million. Look at that, $6 million saving $200 a month for 40 years. Now, I know we've got some old farts on the call. I'm included. So you might say, I don't have 40 years. I will be dead by then. So then you'd have to, now watch, it's a little sad now, 15% return on your money. You kick it up to $500 a month because you only got, let's say, 20 years to retire. Well, it only turns out to 750,000. I mean, still $750,000, not bad. But there's the value in time and money. So you really should start saving right now for those of you that are not, and have that be a focus. Now, I'll tell you what I use. I use Fidelity, and this is my account. And obviously, I'm not going to show you everything in my account, but that's what I use, and it's automated. Everything's automated. Pulls money out and invests right away. Here, I'm going to tell you really quick. These are my stock picks. I told you I'm not a financial planner, but people have been asking me. I thought if they're asking me, it must be valuable. So these are the funds that I put into. This is a growth fund. This is an index fund. So you guys have to, I'm not going to read the symbols. Hopefully you can see it. This is a mid-cap growth fund. These are really safe investments that I put in. QQQ is an ETF. But I'm going to show you this. I only have one bank, Bank of America. I know Warren Buffett invests in that. That's going to be, I think, really great in the years to come. Facebook has been huge for us. I mean, we got in on that when it was $40 a share. But even though it's so high now, I think it's going to be one of those mega companies in years to come. But here's what I really want to tell you guys is if you're going to invest, I really suggest looking at anything that's biotech. I believe biotech in 10 years from now, and anything that's dealing with robotics is going to be huge in just 10 years from now. So those are my picks, and you'll see I have some Bitcoin mining. This one company, that's safer than just buying currency. Anyway, so take a screenshot of that. That's what I've been getting, almost 28% return. Okay, now let's see. Last thing for this year, gang, and I'm going to share this, and then we're going to open it up to questions. Is make sure that you're getting involved with some kind of coaching for yourself. And this is not to sell you on our coaching. Of course, we have that, but the point here is one of the expressions that I share in my seminars is when you're in the picture, you can't see the frame. One of the most valuable things is that when you have people in your life that can see outside of your situation, they can see things you can't see because you're too emotionally wrapped up in it. If you will look at our personal lives, Usually, if you're having some problems personally, you got that girlfriend, that guy friend that you reach out to. That's coaching. That's coaching. Any successful person in whether it's in sports or if it's in the arts, they have people that coach them to bring their skill level to the next level, right? So I'm going to share this with you. One of our students, Michael Ardolino, Realty Connect USA, one of the owners now, but when he first started, he started our program. In his first year as a new agent, he got 71 listings, 64 sales. And, and he attributes it to the coaching that, we gave to him. Now, I'm going to show you, this is where I learned the power of coaching. This is me. Those of you can see it on your screen, running the New York City Marathon. As you can tell, that is so not a that is kind of, those of you that can't see it on your screen, it's probably very fortunate for you, because it's not a very attractive looking picture. As you can tell, I don't have a runner's body. I'm going to get off the screen because it's disturbing to look at. But anyway, there I am finishing the New York City Marathon, 6 hours and 41 minutes, which is actually horrible time. I don't know who's holding my hand. He just grabbed my hand as I crossed. So I don't want anybody to think that I'm dating that guy or I know him. But the reason why I share that with you is because for me to run and finish a marathon is truly a miracle. It really is. And I've actually I've ran 3 in my life, and I will never run anymore. But the reason why is because why I ran is because I was raising money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And if you look at the bottom of their website there, that's on your screen, it says that they have coaching available and experienced coaches, a comprehensive training plan. Here's the bottom line: is how I created the miracle called Finish a Marathon. It was because of team and training, the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. The deal they have is, hey, if you help us raise money, we'll train you to run a marathon. And it was through the coaching and the training that I was able to do that. I'm going to share this one last thing, and then I'm going to open it up to questions once we tell you about our coaching. But here's the thing that I really discovered and how important coaching is. I heard about when you're running in the New York City Marathon, there's these people on the side of the road that are just cheering you on, just incredible. And this is actually a picture of it. And I got to tell you something. That was one of the things that really helped me to run the New York City Marathon, is those people on the side of the road just screaming and cheering our names. It was so incredible. It was so inspiring. And here's what I can tell you. When you have people cheering you on, people committed to your success, you can run further and faster than you can ever imagine. So if there's one thing to do in 2018 that's going to help you finish the marathon you want to commit to this year, and of course that's metaphorically, then it's important you have people who are rooting you on. I don't have to tell you, when you have people in your life that aren't rooting you on, it can actually drain you and hold you back. But the opposite is also true. So I told you I was going to do something special for you guys. I want to do that real quick, and then I'm going to open it up to questions. So hang in there. Don't go anywhere. Just give me 2 minutes, and then I'm going to open up to questions. Make sure you start thinking about it. You'll see the website at the top. It's thepowerprogram.com webinar bonus. So, if you decide that you want to sign up for this program, which is only $27 a month, here's what you're getting: access to our monthly live power hour calls that we do every month. And then there is the dedicated website with a plethora of stuff. We have actually a year of past recordings, past magazines. There is so much in this program. There's a digital magazine every month. We interview top agents every month, and we put those on the website so you can download those and listen to them. There's vendors that we vet and make sure that they're giving good deals for our power agents. This Facebook group, this closed group, is turning out to be a really awesome training tool for us. And of course, there's the RedX, which you can also get. And then you have 50% discount on our other learning stuff. So what we're doing is that you can sign up if you want to become a power agent and get 30 days free to kick the tires and check it out. And then it's only $27 a month after that. But the bonus that we're doing for you today, in addition to the 30 days, is that and the complete access to the website. We're going to give you a copy of the slides from today too. And you'll be able to download a lot of the forms that we talked about, the dot board, the inventory, and you'll have free access to the webinar, future webinars. So if you want to become Power Agent and check this out, go to that website at the bottom that says thepowerprogram.com, and you have to type in webinar bonus. It's a secret page that we created for you, webinar bonus. Now, with that said, I'm going to open up to questions. So does anybody have any questions that you want to ask before we finish our call? Julie?
Yes, we have Rick wants to know what time of day is the most effective for cold calling.
Great question. So I always would call in the evening when both husband and wife, assuming that there's a husband and wife. So I like to call after 6 o'clock. That's when I would call. But there's a challenge with that. When you would call at 6 o'clock, then you're going through your whole day, and by the time you're going to make your calls at 6 o'clock, you may be emotionally drained yourself, and you may not have the energy to do it. So if that's what would happen to you, then that would not be the best time. Then I would say do it in the morning. Do it first thing. If you resist prospecting in a huge way, then have that be the first thing you do in the morning as opposed to towards the end. Julie?
Awesome. Kevin wants to know when prospecting expires and FSBOs, how do you get around the do not call list? Because in his area, everyone is on that.
Okay, great question. The do not call list. So I'm going to say something first before I say answer that, and that is, you know what? I learned this Latin phrase a while ago called "anus protectus." It's Latin. You didn't know I spoke Latin, huh, Julie?
Yeah.
All right, so you got to do whatever your broker says to do. So if your broker says don't call people that are on the do not call list, then don't. Now, if there is no policy, here's what I can tell you. If somebody's on the do not call list, you absolutely can call them. And here's why I say that the do not call list does not apply to us, especially with FSBOs and expireds, because the do not call list says you can't solicit people. We're not. We're not selling stocks, bonds, magazines. We're not asking for their checking account number or their credit card over the phone. What we're doing is responding to an ad that was placed that the homeowner say, I'm selling my house, call me. So I have not heard of one agent being sued on calling somebody on the do not call list because it doesn't apply to us. So it's a non-issue. And if you really want to sink your teeth in it, expireds, we have an indirect relationship with expireds through the MLS system. The do not call list also says that you can call people on the do not call list if you had a prior relationship with them, which we do with the expireds. So it's a non-issue. Now, by the way, that RedX company that I told you, DarrylSpecial.com, RedX, when you sign up, they do also let you know who's on the do not call list if you care. So they do that work for you also. All right. Next question, Julie.
Fantastic. How do you stand out when calling expireds and FSBOs when 20 other agents have already called?
That's really the dialogue, and you know, we'll probably do another. We're going to do a webinar for our power agents for calling FSBOs and expireds. We'll have a dedicated webinar for that. So, and we'll do that this month. But that's a long answer to that question. I think that what I can tell you really quick, because I don't want to not give you an answer. If some, so Julie, read me the question again so I can give it more specifically. Go ahead.
How do you stand out when calling expireds and FSBOs when 20 other agents have called?
When you call a FSBO and expired, it can sound like a listing appointment. Okay, you're calling because you just want to, you know, see their house, see how you can help them. You want to get some more information. That's all. So if other agents have called, I say, you're like the 10th realtor who's called me, and it's really annoying. You just kind of really ignore that and say, well, you know, that could be a good thing because at least there's activity. You know, unfortunately, there are some homeowners that aren't getting any calls, even from buyers. So, but let me ask you this, Mrs. Hanahan. I'm looking at a copy of the ad, and it sounds really great. You said you have 4 bedrooms, 2 baths. So the point is you would just get back on the script, the dialogue, in making the call. Don't get hung up on when they throw out that objection or any objection. You want to try and stay on track with what you're doing, okay? Julie?
Excellent. Why only calling and not going directly to the door? In other words, door knocking for FSBOs, and I'm assuming FSBOs and and expires?
Great question. That's a preference. So if you like the door-to-door and you're effective with the door-to-door, then you should do the door-to-door. So I'm not opposed to the knocking on the doors, but what I like about the phone is you can get a lot more done in the same amount of time, because you think about it, how many doors would you have? How long would it take you, to knock on 10 doors and to have 10 conversations? It's going to take a lot more time. With the telephone, you can just be more effective, more productive in the same amount of time. So it's a preference, though. That's my preference is called. It's not bad. Listen, door knocking is better than doing nothing.
Do you like the idea of agents sending something in the mail first and following up with the phone call, so it feels maybe less scary?
Yeah, that's a great question. You can certainly do that. If you want to do a mailing and then do a follow-up to that mailing, one of the pages we have on the Power Program site under Classroom, there's a whole bunch of Word documents that you can actually download just for that purpose, where you can print those letters out and send them as a drip campaign and do follow-up calls. So that obviously takes longer to get appointments, but I know for some people, they have such an aversion to calling cold that they would like to prime the seller, and so that's why we created the letters, and so that's a good way to do it too.
We have one agent that said she got a listing from texting. Have you seen much of that? That's cool.
Hey, that is cool. I wish I could
how do you deal with?
I wish I could say something to that. I've actually don't teach that, and I should look into it.
Yeah, let's figure that out.
Whoever that is,
Kelly might have to be our next expert.
Yeah, we may have to talk to that person. So whatever agent who you are that just asked that question, make sure you tell us who you are. We may call you and do a little interview. That's a good idea.
I do. I love it. How do you deal with a seller who is motivated by price?
Well, yeah, great. Listen, here's one of the ditties that our power agents use when they're on the appointment with the seller. Now, first of all, if they tell you on the telephone, oh, I'm in no hurry, as long as I get my price, don't pay attention to that, because they may be fibbing. The sellers use that as a technique to brush us off on the telephone. Now, sometimes it's true, but don't think it's gospel. So just let that one go. You still want to get in the door, get face-to-face. Now, when you're face-to-face with them, this is going to be our last question, because I just looked at the time. When you are face-to-face with them, then you want to get clear about what they're committed to, why they're moving, where they're moving to. You can, through the questions, you can tell if they're honest about that. But here's one of the ditties our power agents say to a homeowner: you can't be committed to price and be committed to moving. Now, we understand you don't want to give the house away, but the question is, are you committed to retiring and moving to Florida, or are you like, no, we are not committed to moving to Florida, we're committed to the money? Those sellers, we can't help. What we do as real estate agents, help people get moved to their next level in their life. That's what we do. So that's my answer on that. All right, Julie, is there anything we need to say before we wrap it up?
No, I think that's it. Awesome job and awesome questions. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thanks, everybody. So any of you that decide to sign up today, we're going to get you these slides. I highly encourage you to do it. Listen, you know what you could do? Here's a little tip. You could sign up, go to that webinar bonus. Look at the screen there, thepowerprogram.com/webinar bonus. If you wanted to, you can actually sign up and download a lot of stuff and then cancel. I just thought you had to rip me off. No, you could do that. Hopefully you don't. Hopefully you want to stay connected with me, but we want to help you guys as best we can. So if that's the only way we can help you, that'll be fine too. All right, God bless you, gang. Thanks for calling in, listening, participating. Great questions. I look forward to talking to you with power agents in the future. We have power agents. Our next call is this coming Monday, so make sure you're on Monday's call. All right, gang, God bless you. Don't forget, we don't just help people buy and sell real estate. We help them get to the next level. And the more people you help get to the next level, the more money you make. Therefore, the money we make is a gauge as to how many lives we've touched. Thank you, gang. God bless. Have a good year. I look forward to talking to you soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.